Have you noticed how an ordinary day no longer feels ordinary? Small things weigh more than they used to. A sound, a look, a short conversation, a message that arrives with the wrong tone. And at the same time, time itself feels different. You wake up, you do what needs to be done, and suddenly the day is gone, compressed, dense, as if everything is moving faster, but without direction. Maybe you are standing in a supermarket, looking at a shelf, and a quiet pressure appears in your chest. Nothing dramatic, just a silent request for stillness. Maybe you are in the shower, and for a brief moment, you can no longer hold the same story about who you are. Maybe you lie down to sleep and realize your mind is not racing. It is trying to keep up. We are the Pleiadians. We guard the human emotional field. We observe the heart, sensitivity, and inner coherence, the parts you often ignore because life keeps moving. And what we bring now is not drama, not prediction, not fear. It is a clear notice. 2026 is not important because something external will suddenly happen. It is important because the internal rhythm of the collective field is accelerating. When rhythm changes, tolerance disappears. What you once endured quietly now feels unbearable. What you postponed now asks for presence. What you did automatically starts to feel false, and the body reacts. You may call this anxiety. You may call it exhaustion. You may call it confusion. But this is not disorder. This is truth trying to take its place. The great acceleration does not begin in the mind. It begins in the emotional field. That is why the body feels it first. Sleep changes. Appetite shifts. The chest tightens. The eyes tire more quickly. Certain people suddenly feel distant, not because they changed, but because you can no longer leave yourself to stay close to them. The field is not becoming harsh. It is becoming precise, and precision leaves less room for what is not aligned. Many try to prepare by gathering information, following timelines, consuming explanations, but information does not prepare the nervous system, and theories do not stabilize the heart. What is required now is simpler and harder. Honesty without drama, presence without control, coherence without forcing clarity. If something feels tighter in your life, if space for the false feels smaller, if pretending suddenly costs too much energy, this is not collapse. This is compression before alignment. We are close, not to lead you, not to push you, to stabilize the field, while you remember what no longer fits and what can no longer be carried. And as you keep listening, you may notice something subtle. Nothing new is being added to you. Something old is quietly falling away. That is how acceleration begins. Acceleration does not push everything forward. Selects. When the field speeds up, what is real gains strength. What is sustained by fear, habit, performance, or obligation begins to lose energy quietly but consistently. That is why some areas of your life feel suddenly heavier. Not dramatic, not explosive, just harder to maintain. You wake up and feel resistance toward things you once accepted without question. Your body hesitates before certain conversations. Your chest tightens before commitments that used to feel normal. This is not mood. This is feedback. The field has become precise. Precision does not argue. It does not warn loudly. It simply stops feeding what is not aligned. You notice this first in relationships. People you once felt close to now feel distant even when they are physically near. Conversations stay on the surface, and your system refuses to go deeper, not because something broke, but because something false can no longer be carried. You notice this in work. Effort increases while meaning disappears. You do more but feel less alive. Tasks that once gave structure now drain energy faster than they return it. This is not lack of discipline. It is lack of coherence. You notice this in identity. Old versions of yourself feel empty. Roles you mastered no longer fit. You try to return to familiar patterns, and the field does not respond. The energy is gone. This is not loss. This is filtration. Acceleration does not attack structures. It removes the energetic glue that was holding them together. What remains standing matches your frequency now. What collapses was already unsupported. That is why forcing things feels exhausting. Pushing no longer works. Convincing yourself no longer works. Explaining yourself no longer works. The field is no longer responding to effort. It responds to truth. When you move against your inner alignment, the cost is immediate. The body reacts before the mind can justify. The chest tightens. The breath shortens. Fatigue appears without explanation. When you move in alignment, even difficult decisions feel clean. Not easy, clean. There is no internal noise. No aftertaste of self-betrayal. No need to defend your choice. This is how acceleration teaches. Not through punishment, through immediacy. Feedback arrives faster now. Delay has consequences now. Avoidance becomes uncomfortable now. Life is not rushing you. It is no longer compensating for misalignment. You are not being pushed forward. You are being revealed. This describes what you are living right now. Write this exact sentence in the comments. I recognize the acceleration. As this recognition settles, the nervous system begins to adapt. Resistance softens. Clarity stabilizes. We remain present, holding the emotional field steady as false weight dissolves, and what is true becomes easier to carry. And without effort, a new rhythm starts to organize itself inside you. Many of you feel tired in a way that rest does not fix. You sleep and wake up still heavy. You slow down and the fatigue remains. This exhaustion does not come from doing too much. It comes from holding what no longer belongs to you. When acceleration increases, the cost of inner resistance rises. Carrying misalignment requires constant compensation. And compensation drains the system quietly. Your body is working harder than before, not because life is demanding more, but because you are still trying to sustain old structures. Inside a new rhythm, the nervous system feels this first. A subtle tension in the chest, a shallow breath, a constant low-level alertness. You are not anxious. You are over-adapting. Over-adapting means adjusting yourself to situations, people, and roles that no longer match your inner frequency, and doing it automatically without noticing. Acceleration removes the buffer that once made this possible. Before, you could push through. Now, pushing creates immediate fatigue. Before, you could ignore signals. Now, the signals are louder, not dramatic, just impossible to miss. This is why many of you feel tired after social interactions that once felt neutral. Why silence feels necessary instead of optional. Why your body asks for pauses you did not need before. Your system is recalibrating, and recalibration feels uncomfortable. Only when you resist it. The exhaustion is not asking you to stop living. It is asking you to stop pretending. Pretending costs energy. Explaining yourself costs. Suppressing what you feel costs energy. Alignment does not. When you act in coherence, the body relaxes even in effort. When you act out of coherence, the body tightens even at rest. This is the difference many of you are starting to notice. You may sit still and feel tired. You may make a difficult choice and feel unexpectedly clear. That contrast is not accidental. It is guidance. Acceleration teaches through sensation, not through ideas. The body becomes the primary instrument of truth. That is why distraction no longer works the way it used to. Noise does not numb. Entertainment does not reset you. Rest without honesty does not restore you. The system is asking for simplification, less explanation, less justification, less performance, more honesty, more presence, more directness. This is not about becoming passive. It is about becoming precise. Precision conserves energy. Misalignment wastes it. As you begin to notice where your energy leaks, you will also notice something else. You are not weak. You are becoming efficient. The field no longer supports unnecessary strain. It redirects energy toward what is essential. And as resistance softens, the fatigue begins to change, not disappearing instantly, but transforming into clarity. We remain close, steadying the emotional field, while your system learns that it no longer needs to carry what is false. And slowly, your energy stops leaking into places that no longer exist for you. You may have noticed moments that do not make sense at first. The world feels unstable. Things are shifting quickly. And yet, in the middle of it, a strange calm appears. Not happiness, not excitement, just a quiet steadiness. This calm is not avoidance. It is regulation. When acceleration increases, the emotional field seeks balance. And balance does not come from control. Comes from coherence. We, the Pleiadians, work in this layer of regulation, not by changing events, but by stabilizing the emotional field. So the heart does not collapse under pressure. Our presence is subtle, feels like space inside the chest, like a breath that goes deeper without effort, like clarity returning after confusion. We do not remove intensity. We reduce distortion. Distortion is what happens when emotion moves faster than understanding. Stabilization slows the emotional reaction without slowing truth. That is why some of you feel calm, while everything around you seems uncertain. The field is reorganizing around coherence. When you stop resisting acceleration, the nervous system begins to settle, not because life becomes easier, but because you are no longer fighting what is already happening. Stability does not mean nothing moves. It means movement no longer overwhelms. This is what emotional stabilization feels like. You still feel, but feelings pass through. Instead of accumulating, you still make decisions, but decisions no longer fragment you. You still face change, but change no longer destabilizes your center. This is not something you force. It happens when you stop holding tension unnecessarily. Many of you try to calm the mind, but the mind does not regulate the field. The body does. That is why attention to breath, posture, and honesty suddenly matters more than techniques or explanations. The field responds to truth, not to control. When you align internally, the emotional field stabilizes automatically. And in that stabilization, clarity emerges. You see more, but react less. You understand faster, but speak less. You move with fewer words and more certainty. This calm is not indifference. It is readiness. If this calm has begun to appear in your life, even briefly, even unexpectedly, write this exact sentence in the comments. I feel the stabilization. We remain present, holding this regulation steady. As your system learns, that acceleration does not require panic. It requires coherence. And coherence, once felt, does not disappear. Preparation in this phase does not look the way it used to. It is not about gathering tools, not about planning every step, not about anticipating outcomes. Those methods belong to a slower rhythm. In acceleration, preparation becomes subtraction. What drains you quietly must be seen. What requires constant self-adjustment must be questioned. What only works when you abandon yourself must be released. This is not dramatic. It is practical. You are learning where your energy leaks. Preparation now means noticing where you say yes, while your body says no, where you remain available, while your inner field closes. These moments are no longer neutral. They cost too much. Acceleration makes inefficiency obvious. And emotional inefficiency is the first thing to be corrected. Many believe preparation means becoming stronger. But strength is not what is required. Clarity is. Clarity simplifies decisions. Clarity shortens explanations. Clarity reduces internal negotiation. When clarity is present, the nervous system relaxes because it no longer needs to manage contradictions. That is why some of you feel an impulse to simplify your environment. Fewer conversations, fewer commitments, more silence. This is not withdrawal. It is alignment. Silence allows the field to reorganize itself. In noise, the system compensates. In silence, it recalibrates. Preparation also means allowing pauses, without filling them, moments without distraction, without justification, without urgency. These pauses are not empty. They are corrective. In them, the emotional field resets its baseline. You may notice that after moments of real silence, decisions become obvious, not because you thought them through, but because the noise has fallen away. This is how coherence reveals itself. Preparation now also means letting go of urgency. That is not yours. Many pressures you feel do not originate in your inner field. They are inherited, collective, habitual. Acceleration exposes this difference. What is truly yours remains steady. What is imposed feels rushed and invasive. Learning to distinguish between the two is preparation. You are not asked to rush. You are asked to be exact. Exact with your time. Exact with your energy. Exact with your attention. The more exact you become, the less effort life requires. This is not passivity. It is precision. And precision keeps you stable, while everything else accelerates. You do not need to be ready for everything. You only need to stop carrying what was never meant to move forward with you. As this becomes clear, preparation stops feeling like work and starts feeling like relief. And quietly, your system positions itself, without strain, for what comes next. We remain close, observing this adjustment as your field learns to move lighter without losing depth. When you are ready, we continue. Acceleration does not add pressure. It removes delay. What you postponed quietly now stands in front of you. What you avoided naming now asks to be felt. This is not confrontation. It is exposure. The field is no longer buffering contradictions. It brings inner truth closer to the surface, so it can be integrated instead of suppressed. That is why certain emotions appear without a clear trigger. A sudden sadness, an unexpected clarity, a wave of certainty that arrives without explanation. These are not moods. They are signals. Signals that something essential has been waiting for space. Acceleration reveals choices you already knew the answer to. It reveals boundaries you already felt. It reveals endings you already sensed, but did not want to disturb. Nothing new is being demanded of you. What is revealed has been present for a long time. The difference now is that you can no longer look away without cost. When truth appears, the nervous system reacts first. A deep breath you did not plan, a release in the chest, a sudden inability to continue pretending. This is not collapse. This is alignment becoming unavoidable. Many fear revelation because they associate it with loss. But what is revealed now is not taken from you. It is returned to you. Energy you spent managing contradictions comes back. Attention you used to split reunifies. Choices become simpler because fewer options remain believable. This is why some of you feel less tolerant, but more peaceful, less flexible, but more stable. Acceleration sharpens perception, and sharp perception feels uncomfortable. Only when you are used to blur. As clarity settles, the urge to explain diminishes, the urge to justify dissolves, the urge to convince disappears. Truth does not need reinforcement. It organizes behavior automatically. You may notice yourself acting differently without deciding to change, speaking less, choosing faster, walking away without resentment. This is integration. The field is aligning your actions with what you already know. This describes what is happening inside you right now. Write this exact sentence in the comments. I am ready to see clearly. As this recognition lands, the emotional field stabilizes further. Resistance loses leverage. Clarity becomes quieter. Movement becomes cleaner. We remain present, holding this revelation steady, so it does not overwhelm the heart. And as the inner picture sharpens, you no longer need to search for direction. Direction begins to move through you. There are things that no longer function in an accelerated field, not because they are wrong, but because their time has ended. What no longer works is pretending you did not feel something. The body records everything now. Ignoring it creates immediate tension. What no longer works is delaying decisions that your inner field has already made. Delay turns clarity into discomfort. What no longer works is staying where your presence is tolerated, but not welcomed, where you are accepted only when you reduce yourself. Acceleration removes tolerance for self-betrayal. You can still do it, but the cost is immediate. Fatigue, irritation, a sense of shrinking inside yourself. This is not punishment. It is correction. The field is no longer soft with misalignment. It does not argue. It does not persuade. It simply withdraws ease. What no longer works is carrying responsibility for what is not yours. Emotional labor that goes unseen. Repairing what you did not break. Holding balance for people who refuse to meet themselves. In a slower rhythm, this was survivable. In acceleration, it becomes unsustainable. You may notice a new firmness in yourself. Not aggression, not coldness, clarity. You say less, but what you say carries weight. You explain less because explanation feels unnecessary. You tolerate less because tolerance without truth feels hollow. This firmness is not something you learned. It is something that emerges when alignment becomes non-negotiable. What also no longer works is waiting for permission. Permission to change. Permission to leave. Permission to be exact. Acceleration does not wait for approval. It responds only to coherence. That is why hesitation now feels heavier than action. Even difficult action releases pressure. Avoidance compounds it. You are not becoming harsh. You are becoming precise. Precision may feel unfamiliar to those who benefited from your flexibility, but precision restores balance. The field supports clarity. It does not support self-erasure. As this becomes clear, you stop negotiating with what drains you. not dramatically, quietly, and that quiet decision creates more stability than any explanation ever could. From this point on, alignment is no longer optional, not because of rules, but because your system refuses to function otherwise. This is not the loss of freedom. It is the end of fragmentation. And when fragmentation ends, movement becomes simple. We remain close, holding the field steady as you step out of what no longer works, without needing to justify your departure. When you are ready, we continue. What you are experiencing is not a beginning. It is a crossing. The acceleration did not arrive to announce itself. It arrived to narrow the path. There is less space now for contradiction, less room for postponement, less tolerance for living divided. And that narrowing is not pressure. It is direction. You are not being pushed forward. You are being gathered inward. As fragmentation dissolves, movement becomes simpler, not because choices disappear, but because only one direction remains believable. This is why many of you feel a strange sense of inevitability, not fear, not excitement, recognition. You are not waiting for something to happen. You are noticing that something has already shifted. The field is no longer asking questions. It is responding. When you align, things move. When you hesitate, tension appears. This is not judgment. It is feedback. And feedback, once understood, removes fear, because you are no longer guessing. You feel when something is true. You feel when something is complete. You feel when something cannot continue. And you no longer need to explain these feelings to yourself. This is what maturity in acceleration looks like. Quiet certainty, clean movement, reduced noise. You are not asked to run. You are not asked to predict. You are asked to stay present, while truth organizes your life. And as you do, support appears not dramatically, but precisely where needed. The field responds to coherence. With cooperation, we remain with you through this passage, not to direct your steps, not to interfere, to stabilize the emotional field, so your heart remains open, while your structure becomes firm. Nothing essential is being taken from you. What is falling away was never meant to cross with you, and as the crossing continues, you may notice something subtle. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming undivided. This is not an ending. It is integration. And integration, once felt, does not reverse. We remain present,